20 most unusual tourist attractions. When you go exploring the world, you can go see all the museums, hike cool mountains, and see all the landmarks. But there's a few things you might not have thought of to even look for. The unthought of, the unique, and just straight up weird places that can make for an atypical, yet memorable vacation.
Hey guys, it's Wacky Universe, your guest host on Titanic today. Let's get on with the video.
20. The Bolweningen Houses. These experimental houses were built as a suburban portion of the city of Den Bosch, Netherlands back in 1984. Walking through them evokes the feeling that you're in some mid-century imagined sci-fi, and you'd be right to think that. This spherical residential development was designed by the 1970s after the launch of an experimental housing project in 1968. Experimental indeed. The neighborhood consists of 50 golf ball houses, meant to make residents feel like they inhabit a spaceship and make you feel as if you're closer to nature. 19. Crosslet Toilet. A toilet in the middle of nowhere. Sounds like a real cash cow of a tourist attraction, right? Okay, maybe not, but you know if you put a toilet in the middle of nowhere, people might just come and see it. The Crosslet Toilet can be found leading to the local Crosslet power station in Iceland. Next to the toilet bowl, you can see the little shower head that comes with it. If you were waiting for an explanation, we can't really offer one. No one knows exactly who planted this out in the open bathroom. In 2017, a sink replaced the toilet, put there for mere decoration. 18. Cabin shelters. Most metropolitan cities in the world include an abundance of cabs and taxis, and in one of the oldest, busiest cities in the world, little houses for cabmen can be found on the various streets of London, England. These small greenhouses known as cabin shelters were installed around the late 19th century, back when our cabs were drawn by horse and not engines. Since cabmen would have to sit outside of the carriage, the shelters were built so they'd have official places to stop instead of going to local pubs to find relaxation and warmth. By 1914, you could find about 61 shelters around London, though nowadays, only 13 remain. 17. The Garden of Eden. Not the real one from the Bible, though that was clearly inspiration from the one found in Lucas, Kansas. The mind behind the building of the garden was Samuel Dinsmore, a local artist in Lucas during the early 1900s. For the next 2 decades after the house was completed in 1907, Dinsmore would place 150 or so sculptures in and around the house, meant to be a tourist attraction. The house would be abandoned for a few years until its reopening in 1969. Over 15,000 tourists visit the Garden of Eden every year during its open hours in the summer and spring. 16. Sir Isaac Newton's Apple Tree. Famous physicist Sir Isaac Newton lived during the 17th century in Woolsthorpe Manor, located in Lincolnshire, England. And it's here near Grantham, Lincolnshire, where you find this perimeter tree, said to be the apple tree that gave him the idea of gravity. There have been many descendants of the original tree, such as the one at Trinity College, Cambridge, and the other at the University of York. But of course, everyone wants to see the one that started it all. There didn't used to be a fence, but the traffic of visitors coming in and trying to sit under the tree proved damaging to the tree's roots. 15. Iligan, the city of majestic waterfalls. With a name like that, the place has to live up to it, right? And it totally does. The urban city of Iligan, located in the Philippines, also features 8 springs, 15 caves, and 23 waterfalls. These are the Tinago Falls, which stand at 240 feet high at its tallest. You might not think it since it's such a tropical place, but the water is apparently ice cold. Visitors, however, may still be permitted to swim in it. Behind the waterfalls, there's also a cave that you can explore. Limunsudan Falls stand at 870 feet, making it not only the highest waterfall in the city, but in all of the Philippines. 14. Kindercook Cafe. At this little cafe in Amsterdam, the kids are the ones that cook your meals. The restaurant opened in 1981, and since then, children ages 8 to 12 years old have been serving the guests. Not only do they cook, but they wait tables, bring the bill, and clean up, with just a few adults to help them here and there. The idea behind the whole establishment was to teach children responsibility and helpfulness. 13. The Mystery Spot. This visual illusion opened to the public in 1939. Upon entering the Mystery Spot, tourists are met with a strange, lopsided landscape. George Prather, an inventor, mechanic, and electrician, discovered the spot, located near Santa Cruz, California, and was inspired to open it as a roadside attraction after being inspired by the Oregon Vortex. The Mystery Spot features a steep uphill pathway to a wooden house. When trying to stand, people lean yet don't fall over, and rolling balls apparently go uphill instead. 12. Paris Sewer Museum. There's a lot to find underneath the city of Paris, including the Paris Sewer Museum. They do have one of the most famous sewer systems after all. At the museum, you get taken below the surface of the 7th arrondissement of Paris, where you learn all about the history of their legendary city feature. People have toured the Paris sewer since 1889, where tourists were taking the sights via wagons and boats. 11. Padonia Park. In the middle of the Australian tropical jungle, you'll find a grand palace-like structure named Padonia Park. Jose Padonia, a Spanish businessman, had the building completed by 1935 and wanted it to be a garden-filled castle that people could openly visit. It sits at Mina Creek in Queensland, Australia. In 2010, the park held a theater production called The Impossible Dream, a story based off of Jose Padonia and his wife. 10. Solar Egg Sauna. Ever thought you'd bake in an egg instead of baking one? Technically, you're steaming in an egg, but whatever. At the Solar Egg Sauna, you'll find relaxation and warmth inside this golden geometric egg located in Kiruna, Sweden. After the grounds of Kiruna had become unstable due to the excess of iron ore mining, the town itself had to relocate, though the mines remained. As a symbol of this renewing of the city's life, architects Bigard and Bergstrom created this stainless golden mirror-sheeted egg. 9. London Post Office Railway. The Mail Rail has been operating since 1927 and consists of a driverless railway, cruising underneath London delivering mail. It ran until 2003 and now just sits as an underground tourist attraction where it acts as a little museum that opened just this past year. For its time, it was considered a revolutionary innovation as it operated through an automatic electric railway. 8. Icehotel Church. Not only does being made entirely of ice make it one of the most unique hotels ever, that being said, it has to be rebuilt every year. There may be many ice hotels and other establishments now, but the first of which was the Icehotel in northern Sweden. It opened in 1990 and featured themed rooms, a bar, and the hotel's church seen here. Every year, the church gets consecrated during Christmas Day service. To keep the hotel stable, it has to be set at 23 degrees Fahrenheit or -5 degrees Celsius. 7. Gnomes Ville. You guessed it, this place is chock full of gnomes. Lawn gnomes manifest this small piece of land in Ferguson Valley, Australia, and have done so for the past 2 decades. Appropriately referred to as Gnomes Ville, it started out as a way to protest the newly installed roundabout. It began with 1 gnome, though it was already clear that the residents of the area did not want that roundabout around. Soon, the gnomes would reach 20 after 2 months. Years later, there would be thousands, some even grouped into their own little neighborhoods like a little gnome city. 6. Mano del Desierto. The Hand of the Desert, better known by its Spanish name, Mano del Desierto, can be found in Chile's Atacama Desert. Chilean sculptor Mario Irasazabal constructed the hand, which would be inaugurated by 1992. It sits firmly in the ground at 1,100 meters above sea level and comprises of concrete and iron, standing at 36 feet or 11 meters tall. Tourists check out the hand often, so much so that vandalism often takes place, prompting an occasional cleaning. 5. The swimming pool. At the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art of Kanazawa, Japan, one of the most unique art installations comes in the form of an illusionary pool. Titled The Swimming Pool, this project by Leandro Ehrlich displays what appears to be a deep pool where you can view fellow museum goers standing underneath. As you can see, they're not really underwater. Instead, there's a 10-centimeter layer of water in transparent glass that makes it look as if these people are operating normally underwater. Produced back in 2004, the installation has found new interest after photos of it recently circulated the internet. 4. The Garden of Vimar. This park of monsters is located in northern Lazio, Italy, a little garden that was made back in the 16th century. It may be called Garden of Vimar, though most people know it by its less formal name, the Park of Monsters. It was commissioned by Prince Pier Francesco Orsini in 1552 as a way to deal with his recent status as a widower, and thought that building a place full of horror sculptures would help. Many strange sights can be found here, which explains why the park was a favorite of artist Salvador Dali and inspired one of his paintings. 3. Akiane Plage. Once a seaside village, Akiane Plage or Akiane Village would turn into a small commune located in the Hauts-de-France region of France. The drier lands off the coast of the English Channel would turn into a place where old boats would be hauled up to and turned upside down. These upside-down boats were converted into little housing areas during the 1990s as a way to preserve the history and culture of the region. 2. The Neon Museum. When we think of city lights of Las Vegas, we think of the excess of colorful neon signs. But like any other city, Las Vegas has evolved, and while it still has a lot of lights, all the old signs hold a lot of history and need somewhere to go. That's where the Neon Museum comes in, sometimes referred to as the Neon Junkyard. The museum was founded in 1996, though the Young Electric Sign Company had been storing all these signs for years. This non-profit establishment includes old signs and sculptures from the Desert Inn, the Stardust, Moulin Rouge, as well as establishments still open like Caesar's Palace and Treasure Island. 1. Avanos Hair Museum. In the small town of Avanos, Turkey, thousands of people around the world seek out the hair museum started by Galip Kırıksu. He started the museum nearly 40 years ago. When one of his friends had to leave town, she cut a piece of her hair so that he would have something to remember her by. Since then, over 16,000 women from all over the world have stopped by to give him a sample of their hair to add to his museum. There's no entry fee to enter the museum, but if you want, you can donate your hair.
If you like that video, check out this video over here on Wacky Universe.